Okay, today we're talking about the QRP Pixie kit that originally it looks like this. Basically you get about, I don't know, 40 components and you have to solder them in here. And let's go ahead and look at my completed project. So this was a watch case I had for my Luminox watch, and I kept it for some reason, and now I know why. So I put this together. It took me about 2 hours. The hardest part about this kit was reading the little tiny ceramic capacitors. Some of them are so difficult to read that you just barely can see the printing on them. That was the hardest part. And then the next hardest part was kind of making sure that my capacitors were pointed the right way. Not that it's a big deal, but those are the things you have to think about. This is a tiny little crystal. It actually says on it 7.023. So that is the frequency that you get. You get one frequency with this little guy. You get it. Here's your antenna. Power up to 13 volts. Your key goes here, and your phone or headphones go here. Okay, so I can run a little test for you to make sure this is working. This kit was pretty fun. It was actually harder than the WinKeyer because there's just more parts. You see that there's kind of no space, so you've got to sort of stack your resistors vertically. These things bend real easily, almost need something on top. I think this varies your frequency just a little bit. I'm not real sure yet because the manual is not very good. The one that comes with it. Basically all it is a diagram and a list of the parts. And so you've got to figure out, and I used two things to figure out my resistors. If you put this on resistance and you put these on the nodes, you can figure out which resistor is which because each one is a little bit different. I also, to double check, I have this little wheel that you can use the colors. You know, it has 3 colors on it. So I use these two in together to figure out, make sure I got it right, and I did get it right. I made one mistake. I put the whole thing together, and I missed the very edges of these 2 parts, and I didn't solder them. And it didn't work right until I did that. And I'm not sure if it matters, but it doesn't tell you which way that the crystal goes. I would guess that it doesn't matter, but I'm not 100% sure. If you're not 100% sure, it wasn't working, so I decided I would just try it, and I turned it around, and it did seem to help. So at first it didn't work. Man, these things are going to break off if I keep bending them. I need a little enclosure for this, but I guess that's what this will be for. So my idea is to get my entire radio system in this tiny little pocket. Only get one frequency though, 7.023. A 9-volt battery would work, but I think you would get 1 watt out of 12. Okay, first of all, we're going to talk about this little Pixie device. I think these things are really cheap. I bought this a really long time ago. I paid at least less than $12 for it, maybe $7 or something. And again, this is what the kit looks like when you get it. So what I have is an antenna here, which is not really a real antenna. And we'll see it like a dummy load. I've got 12 volts from my Stealth Cam. I have, it doesn't have a keyer, so all you get is, I forgot what, it's not a paddle, what is this called? A straight key? That's it, straight key. Okay, I don't have the speaker in it right now, because I'm not testing that. So what I'm going to do is do this. See, I have my other radio there. So I'm getting out, right? This radio is hearing this one. But what does this mean? So if I hit tune on there, it tries to tune to 702317. But, you know, considering what this is, it's very close. Now, what happens if I transmit? Can I hear on here? So one of the problems with this radio, I noticed right away, is it doesn't have a sound to it. You can't hear yourself doing it, so it's like this. That's going to be hard to key, isn't it? I might be able to use my Win keyer, but it has RCHX in the back, so I think I can use my keyer to go into here and then go from there to my paddle, and I'll be able to use a regular paddle. I don't know yet. Okay, so let's listen now for the radio. Now I'm going to put the speaker in. Now that, I don't have an antenna up for that, so there's no antenna, so I can't hear. But you do hear static, right? I don't have an antenna up. So what happens if I key here? The sound is coming from there, so I can receive and send. Alright, so to finish up, what I want to do, I guess, and if you have any other ideas, let me know. I'm going to use pretty much this setup right here. I don't know if I'm going to use a straight key or a paddle or how that's going to work, but I'm trying to get as little as possible. Really challenge myself. If I can make a contact with this, I can do anything. Anyway, I highly recommend this kit. If you're new to soldering, the things you have to watch out for are the directions of the capacitors, the size of the capacitors, and that's it. Everything else is easy. If you can find out your resistors, if you know their sizes by the color coding, or using a test meter, this is an easy project. It's really fun and it's really cheap. Now, can you really make a contact? That's the question.